I got to pondering what it is and why it is that a person might be so magnetized toward negative news and tragedy. We will often say that's because a person is an empath. But the truth is, everybody, every human being, every sentient being is empathic, has the ability to feel to one degree or another, um, empathically, absorbing the energy uh, from others and from what's going on around us. But I think there may be a deeper aspect, a psychological, subconscious aspects. Of course, there's always a subconscious reason to everything that we do and feel. But there is an element in the unconscious, in the subconscious, that if we feel, if we hold quite a bit of negative energy in our field, in our body, there's this subconscious element of validation. And so the person that experiences a lot of unhappiness in their person potentially is magnetized to bad news, negative news, because that has a validating effect on the soul psychologically. It validates, if I use myself as an example, it's not the case now, but in the past, that would have been the case. The bad news, as I am engrossing myself in the bad news and seeing all the terrible things that are going on in the world, I am validating my own state of unhappiness. And it makes me feel, in a weird sense, it makes me feel like I am not alone in my happiness. So, taking in all the bad news and the tragedy validates my own unhappiness at an unconscious, subconscious level. So that's one aspect that can make a person gravitate toward always negativity. It's a form of validation. The other aspect is one of unconsciously feeling guilty if not my entire time is spent in sympathy and empathy for the suffering of other people. And depending on how deep that sense of guilt is, there may never be any time to allow happiness, to allow joy, to be part of your life, for you to enjoy yourself with happy thoughts and to forget about the suffering of the world. There is a guilt associated with that, a subconscious guilt, that if you are too happy, then that's an affront to the people in the world that suffer. And so it has this subconscious pull of guilt to it. That's another subconscious aspect that can make a person generate toward consuming excessive amounts of negative news. And pretty soon, well, not pretty soon, but it does become a cycle, a spin cycle, where you never get out of these lower depressive emotions. Because one thing feeds the other. Your need for validation feeds the need for bad news. And it goes around and round and round, and you're spinning that. And you just never allow yourself to unburden yourself from the suffering and the caring for the suffering of the world. And we have to be careful not to become consumed by these lower energies. It's not a noble sign that for your empathic ability and allowing negativity to completely consume you. That's not a positive sign of a positive gifting. It just means that you have not learned to set boundaries and balance yourself and how to work with the energies. You have to take care of yourself first. I know that is seen as selfishness in the world, but the world has trained us into all kinds of wrong thinking and wrong feeling. It's always about others, so to the point where we completely neglect ourselves. And that is why the world is in the state it is. We have self-neglected for generations. And if we self-neglect as individuals, it's no wonder we're all so sick and suffering. It always has to begin with you first. You come first. And I replaced the acronym of JOY, which used to be Jesus, others, and then you, with FLY. First, love yourself. So from joy to flying, first love yourself.